Hello, I'm Tryhard, and I've written the script about 2 months ago. Actually, I think the quarantine in my country has basically lifted. We're in phase two of uh, rehabilitation, if you can call it that. You should not call it rehabilitation. It is not rehabilitation. I am retarded. But it's 12:30. I'm recording a video because I'm bored. I got fucking permabanned on legally. In my third account because Riot Games does not like me typing in the post game chat lobby. So uh, I I guess I'll just talk about a topic that based on a script I wrote 2 months ago. So this video is about camps. I never like going out. I don't like it. It's a no for me. Whether it be gallivanting with friends or I don't know, just wasting time. I don't like leaving home in general. Basically, I can't imagine having a social life, and everything that doesn't involve pub stomping noobs in video games isn't worth my time. So, camps should be a big fear of mine if you take me to be the average incel online and worthless introvert offline. And you would be correct, because I do hate camps, and unfortunately for me, I'm also forced to attend them. Personally, I feel the whole idea of spending time away to be outside of my comfort zone is a stupid idea. I like my comfort zone. I haven't always hated camps, and I don't hate all camps either. For example, in primary 4, I took a trip to the next country over, which was basically more of a paid school vacation than a camp. My school booked us a hotel with AC rooms, and we only had the room with one other person, which I think is amazing. Of course, at that time, I didn't think so. I thought, yeah, this is good. I like this. But I didn't really appreciate it until primary 5, where the government booked our camp for our outdoor education. We were driven off to camps, which were more like prison holding cells than a space for living, and we piled into bunkers with mosquitoes and sweat stains because apparently ventilation was too much for the budget. I think the previous camp trip was actually detrimental because that meant I had my standards raised for the primary 5 camp and all camps after that. I don't think it was particularly bad though. I only really remember looking at the grimy water that we all had to share to wash our plates after meals and thinking, wow, people are stupid. Apparently, we were supposed to be responsible and clean up after ourselves. But I don't see how washing a plate with water that could have come from oil spills in the Gulf of Mexico was supposed to be beneficial to us in any way. I think I've had my worst experience with camps. I think my most recent one, which is at the start of this year, which is 2020. Again, the government booked prison cells for the entire cohort, and I mean the entire cohort across all schools in our country. I was sent to an island that is now used as a quarantine center, or well, it was used as a quarantine center, so it's nice to see that it's finally being recognized for how worthless it is. I think clean water, proper food was off the menu, so they had to run a reroll of Dirty Water Bucket Part 2, Return of the Sith, and stock up on canned food about 2 months too early for the pandemic. I suppose that was fine until they handed us our rations, and I confirmed my suspicions of the organizers of the camps having one chromosome too many because they handed a bunch of half-grown apes cans of food without can openers. They quickly realized that the starving orangutans would break their nails on the metal cans, and so they had to bust out the Swiss Army knives. Do you know how sad it is to see someone eat out of a can with their fingers? I do, because I stared at the monkeys around me and I realized I wasn't going to live through the camp with all my brain cells intact. Not that I had any to begin with. Food was probably the cause of one of the main three brain hemorrhages I suffered in the camp, because I cannot comprehend why someone would need to learn to cook ready to eat canned food in a mess tin, or why any sane individual would cook rice in a pot over a fire. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. Rice cookers exist for a reason. I also suffered a minor stroke when a snake reportedly invaded our campsite to take a peek into the girls' tent like a pedophile in the middle of the night. Can't really blame the snake though, and I hope my man got his money's worth because we were all camping on top of his home ground, and the instructors, who basically lived on the island all year round, were not aware of the snake. We evacuated the tents for about 5 minutes, and I listened to everyone buzzing about how the camp would be cancelled. The general consensus was, yes, please let me out of the living nightmare. Then the instructors called to tell us to get back into bed because snakes shouldn't stop us from serving our sentence of eternal damnation. By the way, the snake was venomous, and they had no way of telling whether or not there were more in the campsite. They didn't even have us move our tents, so I slept on top of rocky crevices where snakes could be at any moment because apparently that was good and proper safety protocol. I'm not a morning person, so I will leave my reaction to early morning runs the next day at like 5 a.m. up to the viewer's discretion. I think having idiots telling me to run faster is definitely going to make me want to run faster for sure, especially when my group is going to get punished if I don't. Turns out they didn't pull group punishment from the Scoutmaster's book of 101 war crimes and made me run. Well, more of walk another 5 rounds. At that point, I was sweating and exhausted, and I felt extremely warm inside. I have a fever, I think. I complained to my understanding and reasonable instructor, who just made an asthmatic person run laps around the campsite. Your attitude needs improvement, the instructor said as she ignored my plea. Now, I know they thought I was faking it because the day before someone had gotten sent home from a high fever, and let's be honest, I wasn't the happiest of campers. In hindsight, actually, this is quite stupid of them because if someone's sent home for fever the previous day, then you shouldn't really be ignoring claims of fever the next day because other people could be sick and they could spread it. However, you don't just ignore someone like that. You know the feverish feeling you get when you have a fever? It's not the same as the feeling you get when you exercise. The instructors must not have known this because they stuck a thermometer to my clammy forehead and told me that I was literally faker. My instructor let the symptoms of influenza A persist for about the next day, while forcing me to carry a poorly designed backpack about twice my weight on a 5-kilometer trek that my brain damage group decided to finish in 20 minutes while moving on to the next campsite. By the way, the standard for this trek is about 1 hour 30 minutes. People do this in 1 hour 30 minutes. Have you ever trekked while having a high fever? It's not pleasant, let me tell you that much. By the end of the trail, I was fuming and burning up. I complained of the symptoms of the Black Death to my instructor, and she told me to take a Panadol and rest it in a tent pitched on rocks, fit to butcher entire cows. I must say, I am puzzled by their lack of a sick bay or first aid stops along the trail or at campsites. But I guess that's just proper safety protocol. The next day I woke up with my forehead feeling like Mount Vesuvius and promptly complained of acute symptoms of syphilis C. My instructor, knowledgeable as always, handed me a Panadol until I forced her to take my temperature or threatened to spontaneously combust. She looked at the reading of 39.2, scratched her thin chin, and thought, fuck, he wasn't lying. I got towed home on a quaint little speedboat, and I spent the next few days in agony as my temperature shot up to 40.1 degrees Celsius, and I lay in bed feeling like a grilled cheese without the sandwich. I think it's safe to say I didn't exactly enjoy myself there, although I think at least I didn't have to trek for 12 hours around an island, because that's what everyone else who wasn't sick and sent home had to do. So apparently this camp is supposed to be a bonding experience for us. We are supposed to enjoy talking about a shared trauma with others. Now, personally, I don't think I would do this. I'm just saying, I don't think talking to another survivor of something I suffered through makes the memory any sweeter. Also, don't give me all of that open mindset bullshit, because apparently I don't have one, because I'm thinking logically and rationally about how I have been dragged away from my AC room and forced into a camp to waste. And I say waste because I have gained only immunity to influenza A from that experience. 5 days of my precious time that I could have been using to grind League and Bed Wars. Anyway, I hope you've hated this video. Please hit that dislike button and don't forget to type tryhard sucks ass in the comments below. I will probably not be uploading in the near future. Maybe, possibly, not really, I don't know. Goodbye for now, and remember to stay pissed.
Yeah, I don't believe in destiny, I just do what's best for me. Don't listen to my enemies, they're just full of jealousy. Yeah, this legacy, you gon' see what's left of me. You gon' see success in me, you ain't seen the rest of me. I just wanna be the best at what I know, better than the rest, just watch me grow. Put me to the test and watch me go. This is my quest, I'ma make it known. They call me obsessive, oh I know. Call me selective with my notes, call me aggressive with my flow, call me offensive even though Joe, I ain't gonna lie, life's tough. Try to get by, life's rough. Try to do it right, it's not enough. Even though you try, you still mess up. But I'm still gonna fight for what I love, still gonna die for what I love, still gonna try, I won't give up, still gonna fight until till I've won. They say I'm way too obsessed and I've got nothing left, and I'm not quite there yet, but those words they'll regret, cause I've got something left and I'm not giving in. I will not let them win, I won't stop till the end, no.